Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about synastry aspects, really, well, one aspect in this one, the sun, square, or opposition of the ascendant in synastry. First off, the basic character, which is the sun, and the outer demeanor, which is the ascendant person, likely to be in conflict and not compatible. Um, the sun person, may often focus on the negative traits of the ascendant person. Let's say if the ascendant person has the rising sign in Taurus, they might be saying, hey, this person's very obstinate, stubborn, overly set in their ways. They might seem overly monotonous or boring and intransigent and flexible. And the thing is, the ascendant person, as far as that outer demeanor goes, which is the ascendant person may not, like the sun person for who he or she truly is, because remember, the ascendant is the outer demeanor, it's the astrological masculine facade, but in the sun sign is the person's true self. Now, in the majority of cases, a person will have a different ascendant than sun sign on occasion, like 1 in 12, 1 out of every 12 cases, you're going to have this person will have the same sun sign as the ascendant, but in the majority of cases, the sun sign of the individual will be different than the rising sign or ascendant. But anyway, the thing about this is, let's say, again, the ascendant person may not like the sun person for who she truly is. Now, let's say, the person has their sun sign person has their sun in Leo. That person, as far as the negative traits of the sign, which the ascendant person may be, viewing or emphasizing more. A person could be very domineering, loud, arrogant, boisterous, bombastic, acting, superior, over others, trying to dominate people. And that's what, the sun person may be focused on. The ascendant person may be seen in the sun person. Now, the thing too is that the ascendant person may not give, that sun person, that praise, the approbation, the attention, that really that he that person wants or desires, or what that the sun person believes they should have. And the thing too is, the ascendant person, may see the sun person as overly domineering and, really, really maybe egocentric even. And the thing is too about this synastry aspect is that the sun person, may be a person that might conflict with the ascendant person's new beginnings, and that's why, the synastry aspect, by itself is obviously adverse and it's not auspicious. But anyway, another thing about the synastry aspect, the sun square opposition, the ascendant in synastry, can be that, the sun person may not be in agreement with the ascendant person's, as far as their outlook on life. I mean, let's go back to the ascendant person having their rising sign in Taurus as an example. The sun person may perceive, the ascendant person's having a too down to earth outlook on life. If the ascendant person has their rising sign in Capricorn as another example, the sun person may see that ascendant person's outlook as being, overly, traditional, conventional, or orthodox, and being, trying to be overly, prudent or cautious, and, planning, overly premeditated and lacking spontaneity, as some examples. Now, another thing is, if the thing too is, the ascendant person may not, often be, physically present in that sun person's life when the sun person needs him or her as well. And the ascendant person, may have, maybe difficulty making a good first impression on the sun individual. If this is a situation where, the sun person, say, is a prospective or potential employer, and the ascendant person is going to this place and trying to find work, make a good first impression to get a job, or let's say that the sun person is somebody that could be like a potential father-in-law to the ascendant person. The ascendant person is trying to make a good first impression on the sun person for that reason, and that could be a situation where the ascendant person may have difficulties. Another example, making a good first impression on the sun individual. But anyway, the thing about this is that, as I've stated in previous videos, is that we have to not isolate any single one as far as natal chart placements, and I apply this to synastry aspects as well, not to isolate any single one individual astrological aspect, placement, position, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person astrologically speaking based on this alone, because the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, not just one. And the same applies for synastry. Synastry aspects, one aspect by itself certainly doesn't make or break a connection, and this aspect, sun square or opposition the ascendant in synastry, is certainly no exception. And the thing about this is, we gotta look, you could have this aspect in synastry, the sun square or opposite the ascendant in synastry, but at the same time you could have the same, let's say that you take two people that have this aspect in synastry, but they have the sun sextile or trine the other person's sun. That could offset this to some degree, because you'd have the basic fundamental characters being compatible with each other. And another example could be, let's say that you have you have this aspect. Now if you have something positive with Venus and the ascendant as another example, if you have the sun sextile, or I'm sorry, you could say Venus sextile or trine the ascendant in synastry, you could see more of a love for that ascendant person than otherwise indicated. So or even one's Venus making a conjunction to the ascendant person's ascendant, that could be another example where you would have a little bit more you have more love for that ascendant person. So you have to really look at all as far as all the aspects go in a as far as synastry may go between the sun person and in this example the sun square opposite ascendant, because even though this aspect is not auspicious by itself, it can be one where you have modifying aspects in the chart which could offset as far as the adverse this one adverse aspect, because I stated before it's not about one aspect making the whole connection and being able to determine or ascertain whether person A is really compatible with person B, because you can often have a number of positive aspects that can offset one negative one to some degree. So it's important to look at all the aspects of the natal chart when you're delineating synastry between two people. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.